Daily Broadside, day 459, I think. Nightly Broadside, really. Just got into another stop. I forgot to mention yesterday that I made an express stop off in Medfield, Massachusetts to explore the remains of the 100-plus-year-old sanitarium, the Medfield State Hospital. I am fascinated by as I've mentioned, not only the architecture of some of these buildings, but just places like that. The fact that they used to call them, homes for the criminally insane is just kind of cool. Now we've gone to sanitarium, and now they're, we've created nicer and nicer places. But that place had a soul, man. Walking around there, there's like dozens of buildings that they've left, and everything's boarded up. You can't go inside, without, breaking the law, which you wouldn't want to do anyway, because the criminal element would be the least of your worries. The mold and asbestos and whatnot would be your problem. But just a really cool facility. And it was you could just hear the walls talking. Thing was built 1908, I think it was. I mean, it's 100-some years old, and used to have 2,200, 2,300 people a year. So tens of thousands of people have gone through there. They've got a cemetery where people have died. There's like 850 people buried there and all this. And it's just a really creepy, but like in a good way, place. So, and it's what's cool about it is the government, I think it's the city, owns it, and they've allowed it. People go out there and they dog walk and, put on outdoor concerts, and stuff like that. It's just really cool how they've kind of, they didn't just bulldoze it, because it's a cool piece of history, because it was the very first cottage plan sanitariums. If you know anything about the layout of how they've done sanitariums, this was more of a community one where, the people that were there, got to walk the grounds and interact in a community. Not the ones that were like dangerous. Those high level ones were like in the R building at the back, which had like a 15-foot, double chain fence, and that was cool. It was just really cool. So anyway, there's a couple things too I'd like to mention. That the further you go north, the more silos, which I call them corn penises, but the more silos you see, which is kind of odd, because the South, it seems to always, that just always seems to me to be more of a farming agrarian community. But you go up in like Pennsylvania, those things are just like all over the place. It's weird. And then you see, it's past 1 million RVs, as you typically do when you travel the highway for a long time. And I got to tell you, the reason I don't think I can own an RV and just tour the world like a lot of these people do is I'd be like, you drive, I'll be in the back at the bar. I wouldn't want to drive the dumb thing. I just want to be the one watching movies, and I guess you play video games and take naps, and whatever you do back there. I wouldn't want to be the person that, and we're talking about like Class A RVs, not like travel trailers. I wouldn't want to be towed in one of those things. Not only is that probably illegal, but it's probably not safe either. But yeah, so but yeah, another thing that some of those northern states do that I find a little weird is they seem to, what best I can tell, they mark off the signs on the side of the road are every 10th of a mile. I don't understand why you would need to pinpoint your location, even in like the worst blizzard of the world. Those little signs are going to get covered up anyway. You're not going to be able to sign them. I don't know what you're supposed to like tell the police, I'm at mile marker 84 and a sixth. Can we not do every quarter mile or half mile? You can see the next, you can about throw, you can toss like a golf ball to the next sign. Those are a little too close together. I don't know why y'all waste your monies on stuff like that. But at any rate, I've so far gone 2,000 miles, more or less, a little bit more than 2,000 miles in 5 days, which is a lot of driving, but I got to see a lot of cool stuff. I was in Gettysburg this morning, and I got to go to Eisenhower, one of my four. My four favorite presidents are Kennedy, Lincoln, Taft, and Eisenhower. Those are the four that I like the best. And I love presidential history. I find it to be fascinating. But those are the ones that strike chords with me for various different reasons, and all. But I got to see Eisenhower's and Mamie's house, which was so cool. It's right outside of Gettysburg. The battlefield is like within spitting distance of it. And it was such a cool visit. It was like if Graceland wasn't so tacky and wasn't in the middle of like a crappy neighborhood, but was in like an area like Biltmore, It was like serene and tranquil and peaceful. It was so quiet, and he had all this room for farming, and he had all these extra buildings and stuff. And the house was massive. I had no idea. They don't let you go in the basement. It looks like it has a full basement. It had to be like a 5,200 square foot house or something. And it had like seven bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, I think it was. And, they entertained world leaders there. It was kind of his second White House. He recuperated from his heart attack there, and all this. Had a putting green put in by the PGA. It was just, skeet shooting. It's just really cool. And it was just so quiet and so peaceful. It sucks that everybody that retires can't afford to have that much land, just for the sake of peace. You know what I mean? To just kind of look back and reflect. And I'm getting a little stupid, but yeah. So, but I really enjoyed that. I love seeing how it's just so weird. And I was like, hey, I know he smoked like 4 packs a day. I was like, did he smoke in the house? Like, oh yes, they both did. And there's ashtrays all over the house, but you can't tell. I mean, I don't know if they repainted or whatever, but like the wallpaper and all that stuff, nothing's yellowed. So I don't know what's up with that, because that's a lot. That's a full-time job. I think Waylon smoked like 6 packs a day, which is the most I know of. That is smoking a cigarette as fast as you can go from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, and only sleeping like 3 hours. Like that is, you gotta like, I bet he just burns one and just puts it out after a few drags. There's no way you could smoke that many cigarettes. 6 packs, 120 cigarettes. Good Lord. Anyway, it's enough about cigarettes. But yeah, so they smoked in the house. It's just so neat that somebody that you've read about, and who has been dead since 68. I think he died the same year RFK Jr. died. I can't remember. Or RFK died, which was 68, because his wife died in like 79. Anyway, he's been dead, 50 some years, and yet you're standing in his living room where he walked. I mean, it's kind of surreal. Anyway. So I'll depart this with saying one other thing. Everybody's all excited about this submarine. I've seen a bunch of funny memes, and they've been great. The best one I saw was if the what's it called, the Ocean Gate? If the Ocean Gate Titan thing had a Chevy Duramax diesel, they showed it like driving right up to the surface. I thought it was pretty funny. But anyway, you might want to just there's a lot of conspiracy involved in all this, but you can look a little deeper into this if you want to. But anytime something this significant is just wicked spread all over the news, man, there's always something else going on. Oh, Epstein, apparently JP Morgan paid out like $290 million to those victims while this was going on. And apparently we're making synthetic chicken now, and digidogs and robotic cops are getting deployed in New York. And there's something about the Durham report and Trump's hoax. And there's a lot of stuff going on in the background, some legislation getting moved around to shift your eyes from what's really going. So Oz really had something going on, because there's more around the curtain than you think. I get it.